Hey guys, Joe DeMarco from the Crazy New York Driver Show for Friday, November 23rd, 2018. Welcome to another eBay video. It's a little bit unusual. Actually, it's very unusual because guess what? Guess what? It is actually sunny out. This is the first sunny day in about 2 weeks, but it comes with a price. The temperature is 20 degrees. You heard me right, folks. 20 degrees. Yesterday was Thanksgiving, and it was the coldest recorded Thanksgiving since I believe the 1880s in this area. The high for the day was about 25 degrees. It was absolutely beastly, awful. That being said, let's discuss today's topics eBay-wise. We're going to talk about two types of eBay returns, your legit and your snag cases, and I'm going to show you two very important screenshots on a cutaway later on. I'm going to tell you an interesting return story and show you a box that an item was returned in with a very interesting aspect. We'll also talk more about your comments, questions, and concerns, and please keep in mind that last week I put out two videos. The first one was my normal Friday video that talked about eBay accepting automatically all snag cases. The second one was discussing how to set your return preferences, and there's some interesting questions that came up on that too. So what I'm going to do now is do a double header. Read and respond to your comments from both. So it's going to take a little longer this week than usual, but there's a lot of good information out there, so please stick with me. First of all, on snag cases, Bro Munn wrote, I think what eBay wants is more snag cases so they can then charge the sellers an additional 4% in final value fees. The only way around this, to avoid higher selling fees for high snag cases, is to offer free returns in the hopes that if a customer doesn't have to lie to get free return shipping, they won't. So in a way, eBay is forcing us to accept free returns with the threat of higher final value fees. On lowball offers, an interesting story from Tina Bostic. I had a shirt for sale for $9.99. A guy offered me $1. I declined. He offered me $2.50. I declined. He came back at $4. I declined again. We eventually got it to $8 with free shipping. By this time, I was just aggravated and took it because I had been sitting on it for a long time. So off it went for $4.32 with the shipping charge. He paid me $8 total. A few days later, he emailed me and said it was stained and dirty and what could I do to fix it. I knew he would be a problem. He said if I couldn't work with him, he would open an item not as described case and he'd have eBay send the full $8 back. So I said, what would make you happy since I paid $4.32 out of the $8 to ship it to you? He said, I will accept $4 back from PayPal and keep the shirt. Ugh, this was already taking up too much of my life, so I gave him $4 back. Let him keep the shirt, and so far nothing from him. It was either that, or I would have had to send him $8 and be out $4.32 shipping, and maybe or maybe not get the shirt back. Oh well, we all have stories like this, I'm sure. To me, it kind of sounds like you caved into a bad buyer. I would have told him, I accept returns for any reason, even buyer remorse. Send the item back to me and I'll give you a full refund. Now he probably would have sent the item back, okay? I would have given him his full money back without batting an eye, and I would have just relisted it and hopefully sold it for more money. I've told you guys so many times that these cheap items are not worth selling on eBay. Anything under $20 is just ludicrous. What I would do if I had a shirt that was worth 10 bucks, I would sell it in conjunction with something else. Maybe two shirts, a lot of two shirts, maybe for $20 or $25 to avoid this kind of thing. Because I think we all agree these cheap items are nothing but trouble. Unpromoted listings, this is interesting. Ivan Zlatev wrote this comment, which I have shortened for brevity. I decided to call eBay and check if there's any problem because I was having very few sales. They said that everything is fine with my account, but there is a problem with the promoted listings. Is anybody else having this kind of issue, or is it just me? Please let me know. Joe, I would appreciate it if you find out more about this and check with your people on eBay about the promoted listings issue. Thank you everyone for your time and attention. Have any of you guys had an issue with promoted listings? I have heard through the Facebook groups that there is an issue. So I went back and checked my last 50 sales yesterday. 50 sales. Out of the last 50 sales that I made on eBay, 2 of them were with promoted listings. Keeping in mind, I have a ton of eBay items enrolled in promoted listings. That leads me to believe there may be some kind of issue, but I do not have enough information to give you right now. Remember, this is sort of a holiday week or holiday weekend, so I couldn't get to a lot of people that I would usually have access to because they had the long weekend. On returns, ZXC wrote, when my buyer did not return the item within 7 days once, I called eBay to close the case. The buyer then just went to PayPal and filed a SNAD case to force the refund. Hopefully eBay's new payment system, Adyen, will prevent this double dipping to get a second chance for a refund. I absolutely hate when people try that. When they open a case with eBay, they lose, then they move down the line with PayPal. Sometimes they win with PayPal, sometimes they lose. Years ago, I had one guy open 3 separate cases against me. He tried with eBay, he lost. He went to PayPal, he lost. He then went to his credit card company. You know, I don't know if the new payment system is going to stop this problem, but I will say it is a problem. It's not a common problem, but it is an occasional problem. Skinny Cow wrote in on SNAD claims. The new SNAD policy has many a ramification. People can try before they buy or use and return. Got a wedding coming up? Buyer suit? Claim SNAD cost the buyer nothing. Looking cold in the next few weeks? Buy a coat. SNAD cost the buyer nothing. Heck, I could rotate household items through my home, kettle, and have it 3, then SNAD, TV 4 weeks, then a SNAD. Latest technology, no problem. Just keep things a few weeks, then SNAD it back. Costs nothing to the buyer, and the person can keep using, wearing, watching all the latest gear for free. Don't think this will happen? You just watch and wait. Interesting take there. On unauthorized returns, E. Dennis wrote, anyone who sends me an unauthorized return is sending me a gift. Federal commerce law states that unauthorized returns are a breach of contract, and in fact the seller can sue the buyer for damages if they suffer any loss by it. So I don't do anything. He is referring to a question I posed to you good people last week regarding returns. I am willing to take returns on eBay for 30 days for any reason. But there are people who circumvent this. Sometimes people wait 2 or 3 months and just send the item back without going through eBay and expect a full refund. And I had asked you guys what you do in this situation. I myself am a big supporter of the eBay returns process. As long as it's done through eBay returns, I will bend over backwards for the customer. But when they try pulling this crazy stuff, returning stuff 3, 4, 5 months after it and saying, you know, I want a refund, that ain't gonna fly, all right? It's not being done through eBay. It is not done the right way. And, you know, it's something you guys need to decide how you want to handle. Everything, in my opinion, should be done through the great eBay returns flow system. On SNAD cases, Kilo 1212 wrote, my SNAD story from last week. I sold an item. In my description I had it in bold red letters, box shows where. Buyer opens a SNAD claim for wear to the box. eBay immediately approved it. This is total nonsense. I shortened his comment for brevity, but he also had something interesting to talk about with, what is your lowest price? And he states, As per what is your lowest price, I have had 12 messages this week. You may call me crazy, but whenever I lower the price for the buyer, there's always a problem and the buyers are looking to get more money back. By the way, Joe, don't complain. We got 12 inches of snow, and I broke my foot in a freak accident, got run over by a mobility scooter. Have a cast, so that really does it for me. What is your lowest price? Those are words I hate to hear on eBay. Lowball offers are fine and acceptable, but when I hear what is your lowest price, I hear no sale. On return preferences, Robert K. wrote, Joe, have you looked at your eBay return preferences in the site preferences page? From eBay, save time by creating basic rules to automatically approve returns or send immediate refunds. You can select all 12 or 1 or more individual returns or more individual reasons for the return. It is possible that eBay's system is glitched again and turn this feature on. Something like this happened to me 2 years ago. Return request notification was turned off and I got 2 defects. eBay told me it was a glitch, but would not remove the defects. Okay, let's stop for a second there. In my second video last week, I showed you guys how to edit your return preferences on eBay. In the example I showed you, I checked off certain reasons, and they were for buyer remorse. Wrong size, doesn't fit, changed mind, found a better price. I checked those off because I understand it that by checking them off, I am accepting those reasons for a return. However, several people wrote in on that video saying, Joe, I think you checked off the wrong boxes. And I don't quite understand what you guys are talking about. I think, Robert, I think you might have been one of them. So could you guys explain thoroughly what you were talking about in that comment? Because I don't understand. When I went to the return preferences, I checked off the reasons I'm willing to take a return, and I left the ones that I do not want to accept an automatic return for unchecked. I believe that's the right way. Some people said it's not. Keep in mind, everything I did is really for nothing. Because even though I left those other reasons unchecked, meaning I will not automatically approve them, because as I understand it, because I'm enrolled in guaranteed shipping, eBay is going to continue to automatically accept them for me. And to back up my claim, I got 2 returns this week. One was a legit buyer remorse return. He's paying the shipping. The other was a Fitchy SNAD return, in which I'm going to have to pay the shipping. We'll get to that a little later in the cutaway. I want to continue with the comments first. On returns, 5797029, Mike wrote, eBay has been automatically approving all of my returns for the past 3 months. Prior to that, I needed to approve all returns. I sent a large taillight from Florida to Washington State by USPS ground. The buyer opened a SNAD case and it was on the way back the very next day. The issue for me is that it came back priority mail. Normally that would be cost prohibitive, but eBay only charged me $16, which was much less than the USPS estimate of $65 and also less than the ground I originally used. eBay rep could not explain what happened here. Very, very good comment and very timely, because the same thing happened to me this week. In last week's video, I told you I had 2 legit returns and 1 Fitchy SNAD return. Regarding the legit returns, I sent an alloy wheel center cap to a customer by priority mail in a priority mail box. I received the item back in the exact same priority mail box. However, the customer printed out a first-class label and was able to send it back to me in a priority mail box. Let me now stop and let me show you that box. I have it behind me. You can probably see it already. Take a look. Look at this. I blocked out the guy's name and address. All right? But you can clearly see it says first class package return service, first class. The buyer paid for first class and he shipped it in this priority mailbox. So I checked into that. I said, I want to know what's going on. Apparently, eBay has made a deal with the post office, whereas any buyer sending an item back to us can ship the item back in any box he damn pleases. If the item's light enough, he can send it back first class in a priority box, in a fixed rate box, and still pay only the first class postage. It is true, folks. I dug into this and I got the answer for you. So that hopefully will explain that. While I'm doing show and tell, you may see another box behind me. I enrolled in the eBay Always Open program. This program is only open to sellers who own a brick and mortar store. And this week, myself and a few friends of mine received our eBay Always Open kit, which I'm going to show you really quickly now. Alright, see this? These are materials if you have a brick and mortar store. I'm hoping that it's coming out. I hope you can see this because with the reflection with the sun I can't really tell. But these are basically things you would put in your brick and mortar retail store, and they're supposed to help out when you're closed, because there's a sign that says, sorry, we are closed now. However, we are open on eBay 24/7, and any potential customers who go to your retail store and can't make a purchase from you in person can go right on eBay and make the purchase from you there. So that is the purpose of this program. Like the old saying goes, it's like chicken soup. It can't hurt. I am for it, I support it, and I think it might help. I am now going to take my first drink from the Fox News Cup o' Life. Happy is he who drinks from the Fox News Cup o' Life. Freezing out, but I will still drink from this cup and enjoy every ounce of liquid that emanates from it. Let us continue with the reading of the comments. Pomona 513 wrote regarding snag cases, in 4.5 years of selling, I've only had one snag case, and from a bad buyer at that. However, this new policy of automatically accepting returns for snag cases will open the door for more scammers. I work hard to make sure my listings are accurate in their photos and descriptions. What's the point if a buyer can just return it and I have no recourse? I have been selling on eBay almost 20 years. It'll be 20 years this January. And I've been very lucky that I've had very few snag cases in almost 20 years. I can probably say in all that time, maybe 6. But do you know the last 2 weeks I've had 1 each week? Now, what does that tell you? Think about that. In my first 19 years of selling on eBay, I have maybe, 4 or 5 snag cases, which is an excellent track record. But last week I had one, and this week I had one, because there are some fishy buyers out there that are going to take advantage and game the system. And it seems, or it would seem, that the message is getting out there. On returns, Matt's Game Store wrote, Joe, I was told the same thing to me many months ago, maybe a year or so. Basically, if I sold an item that had the easy return policy and a snag case was opened, that there would be no communication and an automatic acceptance of eBay of the return and my cost. Furthermore, I was told that this was going to be considered part of doing business online. I was taken back by it, and it had an hour-long rant conversation with the rep because of this ridiculous and ludicrous idea. It is clearly bad for business and will promote many scammers to just buy items and return them. As you can guess from my screen name, I sell video games. Imagine people being able to purchase good title games, playing them, and sending them back at my cost just because they didn't like it, or at least said that it didn't work. This is exactly why I would never accept an easy return policy, and you, and everybody within the sound of my voice, should opt out immediately. Now, Matt, you used the word or the term easy return policy. I'm not sure exactly what you mean by that. I'm not in free returns, so I don't know if you're confusing that or if you're referring to the guaranteed delivery program, which we all found out has a rider attached to it, which says that eBay will accept all returns, all SNAD returns automatically, and we will have no say. And once eBay accepts the SNAD return, there is no communication between you and the buyer. You can't offer him a few dollars off to keep the item, or you can't say something like, you know, what would make you happy, what's wrong with it. Bang, it's all over, it's done. You're taking the item back and you're paying. So please be clear on that. More on SNAD. Gene O wrote, that SNAD policy is just inviting problems. There will be fidgety buyers that just want to mess with a seller and buy something and open a case just to see the seller lose money. Along with the already big problem of people not reading the description, why should we have to pay for their ignorance? How stupid of eBay. They sure did not put much thought into this one. Eventually sellers leave eBay with that stupid policy. Also on SNAD, Uncle Fester wrote, oh boy, it's a fidgety buyer's paradise now, Joe. What can I tell you? And the last comment before we get on to new material, for the Doggies Guitars wrote, thanks Joe, always a wealth of information in your videos. Sending you some Arizona sun. Sir, your sun did arrive and I thank you for it, but we still have our cold 20-degree temperatures. But let me tell you something, this may sound crazy. I would rather have a sunny day like this and 20 degrees than a cloudy day and 60. I despise cloudy, bleak weather. And it's going to rain. It rained about 5 days this week. It's going to rain again Saturday afternoon, Saturday night, Sunday morning. It's going to stop, be dry the rest of Sunday, and Monday right back to rain again. Crazy. We are now going to get into some new topics today. The first one I want to talk to you about is the two types of returns and the verbiage eBay is using when they send you a letter, a notification. They don't come right out and use the word SNAD. And this is weird. And it's very timely because I told you about the returns from last week. Well, this week, 2 more came rolling in. No pun intended. The first return was a legit return from a buyer who purchased the wrong item. He's paying the shipping back. He's already uploaded the tracking number. I have no issue with him whatsoever. The second was a buyer who once again didn't read the listing, said in his opinion it's more scratch than he thought it was, claimed the pictures do not match the item, which is totally false because they do. I take all the pictures myself. So he filed a SNAD case and it's coming back to me. He has not yet uploaded tracking. But I want you to stop now and look at the screen. We're going to do a cutaway and I want to show you the 2 notifications I got from eBay and how they very subtly differ. Let's do that now. Okay guys, now I'm going to show you 2 types of emails you will get from eBay depending upon what kind of return is initiated by your buyer. The first example is going to be what I refer to as a legitimate buyer remorse return. Here it clearly says the buyer, John Smith, is returning this item. Hi Joseph. The buyer, John Smith, is returning blank blank blank. Based on the return rule that is set for your account, the return has been automatically approved. We've asked the buyer to send the item back. After the buyer ships the item, we'll share the tracking information with you. Please inspect the item before issuing a refund. View the return details to issue a refund now if you like. You must issue a refund within 2 days of the item being delivered. This is basically cut and dry. It's just a simple email from eBay telling you that a buyer purchased an item, is returning it at his expense because he made some kind of a mistake, and that upon receipt you're to give the guy a refund. I have no issues with this whatsoever, but I want you to look carefully at this line. Based on the return rule that is set for your account, the return has been automatically approved. Now I'm going to show you an example of a FITCHY SNAD return. A buyer claiming not as described when that is not always the case. Let's take a look at the difference. Here it starts out the same. The buyer, John Smith, is returning this item. Hi, Joseph. The buyer, John Smith, is returning blank, blank, blank. Now here's where it gets different. Per eBay's policy, this return has been automatically approved and we've asked the buyer to send the item back. After the buyer ships the item, we'll share the tracking information with you. Please inspect the item before issuing a refund. View the return details to issue a refund now if you like. You must issue a refund within 2 days of the item being delivered. At no point here does it tell you how much money you have to pay for this return label, nor does it say it if you click the return, view the return details. The difference in the verbiage is right here. Per eBay's policy, this return has been automatically approved and we've asked the buyer to send the item back. Carefully understand this. This is a SNAD claim example. The one I showed you earlier, right here, is a regular, normal garden variety return where the buyer is honest and forthright. In this case, a buyer can claim anything he wants and get away with pulling a SNAD return. I wanted you to see the difference in the verbiage. Let's get back to the video right now. So yeah, guys, I think you saw exactly what I meant there. The verbiage is very slightly different, and if you're not careful, if you don't read carefully, you may not realize you're getting SNAD claims against you. So what I'd like you guys to do is be careful next time you receive one of these emails from eBay. Read it carefully and let us know in the comment box below what yours said. Was it a legit return from a buyer who made an honest mistake, or was it from a FITCHY buyer, someone trying to game the system? Because this does seem to be increasing. I've been very lucky over the last almost 20 years. Very few FITCHY buyers have tried to open SNAD claims with me. It does happen occasionally. That's built into the business model. But like I said, and like many of you guys have said, it seems to be increasing, and I got one last week and one this week. So that seems to basically back up that theory. Another comment that I read in last week's video kind of, made me shake my head in disbelief. A person who I really don't know made a comment basically about you guys, you eBay sellers, saying that you guys are very negative in your business model and your comments and the way you run your eBay store. And I disagree. I invite people to share things that don't go exactly as right. I am an eBay fan and I do cheer for eBay just as loud as anybody can. But I am a realist and I realize things are not always going to go right, and certain rules are going to be written that are going to need to be rewritten. And I encourage every one of you to tell us about your problems that you encounter selling on eBay. Because as you know, in the past, eBay does listen to my videos. Now, I'm not saying eBay is going to change every single thing you guys want changed. It ain't gonna happen. But sometimes they do. For instance, right off the top of my head, a few months ago they instituted that 14-day rule, saying you could not put your newly listed eBay items on sale for the first 14 days. They have rescinded that rule and they have lifted it, and everything's back to normal. So do not be afraid to stay when you have a problem. I don't feel that anybody that relates a problem either with a transaction, a bad buyer, a FITCHY person, or anything like that is really complaining. I feel you're stating fact and you're putting the information out there to help make eBay a better place. Guys, don't ever let anybody bully you or tell you what to do, okay? Take it from me, a guy that's got experience on that kind of thing. Do you guys know who I am? I'm Crazy New York Driver, and you're not. Thank you for watching my video once again this week. If you think I did a good job, please leave me a thumbs up. It tells me I'm appreciated and on point. If you don't think I did a good job, please tell me in the comment box below what you want me to hit up next week, and you know I'll do my best to do so. I am an eBay seller's friend. I am not a seller critic or skeptic of any kind. I'm still making money online, and I've solved a lot of problems. Yeah. What do you say, guys? One more drink from the Fox News Cup of Life before I end this. This is the Fox News Cup of Life. Happy is he who drinks from it. Yeah. Just as good the second time around. All right, guys, that's a wrap. I don't know if I'm going to put another video out this week, but if things happen that are really important, I will do so. Thank you for watching. Go out there, make a ton of money on eBay. I hope you all did good this week. I did good. I'm happy with my eBay sales. I did very good this week. Better than I had expected. Thanks for watching, guys. Rock on and peace! Yeah!